Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive
Yeah.
into something.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. So you guys shared this with us.
Yeah, this is a popular one.
Claire Penrose's blog post on Stallion 50 shadow journal prompts.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to
It
unpack
took him.
these prompts.
Yeah.
So get ready for a journey
Buckle up.
of self-discovery, because these prompts are like
Whoa.
keys
Jeez.
unlocking those hidden rooms within ourselves.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah, I like that analogy a lot. What's cool about this deep dive is we're not just skimming the surface here.
No.
We're really going deep.
We're going deep.
We're using these prompts to explore the often avoided aspects of our personalities.
Yeah.
Those lurking shadows that can hold us back if we let them.
Yeah. So for those who might be new to this concept,
Mm-hmm.
how would you describe the shadow self?
Oh, shadow self. It's a good question.
In a way that makes sense, even if you've never heard the term before.
Even if you've never heard it. Okay, so imagine an iceberg.
Okay.
Right. You see the tip above the water,
Yeah.
but there's this massive hidden part beneath the surface
Right.
that's kind of like our shadow self.
Okay.
It holds all the parts of ourselves we've pushed down
Yeah.
or deemed unacceptable.
Right.
You know, those fears, insecurities,
Yeah.
or even desires that we've learned to hide.
Yeah. And why would we want to explore these hidden depths?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like some people might find that a bit, well, scary.
You're right. It can be daunting.
Yeah.
But think of it like this. If we ignore those hidden parts,
Okay.
they can control us in ways we don't even realize, right? They can sabotage our relationships, hold us back from pursuing our dreams,
Yeah.
or keep us stuck in unhealthy
I
patterns.
like it doing good.
But if we shine a light on them
Okay.
through these journal prompts, we can understand them,
Right.
integrate them, and ultimately become more whole
Yeah.
and authentic versions of ourselves.
It's like facing your fears.
Yeah, like facing your fears. Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
So how does Claire Penrose approach this in her blog post?
Uh-huh.
Does she just give us a list of 50 random prompts?
Not at all.
No.
No, she's very thoughtful about it. She's thoughtfully grouped the prompts
Okay.
into categories,
Oh, good.
which is incredibly helpful because
Yeah.
it allows us to explore different aspects of our shadow selves
Right.
in a structured way.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the first category then.
Okay.
What's the first shadow realm we're exploring today?
The one that often feels the most immediate and relatable,
Okay.
facing fears and insecurities.
Ooh.
These prompts are like a spotlight
Okay.
shining directly on the things that hold us back,
Mm.
those whispers of doubt
Yeah.
that can really limit our potential.
Okay, give me an example of a prompt from this category that really packs a punch.
How about this one? Reflect on a fear that holds you back in life. Describe where you think it comes from and how it affects your choices.
Whoa, that's going straight to the heart of it.
Right to the heart of it.
This isn't just about naming the fear.
No.
It's about understanding its origins and its impact on our lives. Right.
Absolutely. Think about those times you've hesitated
Yeah.
to take a chance, speak your truth,
Right.
or go after what you truly desire.
Mm-hmm.
Often there's a fear lurking beneath the surface,
Yeah.
dictating your decisions without you even realizing it.
Oh, sneaky.
Sneaky little shadow.
Yeah.
This prompt encourages you to investigate that fear.
Okay.
Trace it back to its roots.
Right.
And consider how it might be limiting your choices.
It makes me think about the times I've stayed in my comfort zone,
Hmm.
even when I knew deep down I wanted something more.
Yeah.
That fear of failure, of not being good enough, could be so paralyzing.
So paralyzing. But if you can identify it,
Right.
maybe you can start to challenge it and break free
Break free?
from that comfort zone,
Right.
from that fear.
Yeah. What's fascinating here is that often these fears stem from past experiences,
Mm-hmm.
maybe from childhood or from a previous relationship.
Exactly.
By understanding where the fear originated,
Yeah.
you can start to see it in a new light and gain a sense of control over it.
Totally. A new perspective can be so powerful.
I can already see how powerful this could be for our listener.
I know, me too.
Just sitting down with a journal
Yeah.
and really diving into that one prompt
Yeah.
could lead to some major breakthroughs.
Absolutely. Some major aha moments.
Right.
For sure.
Okay, let's move on to another prompt
Dig.
from this facing fears and insecurities category.
All right.
What else did Claire Penrose include
Let's see.
that might be particularly helpful for our listener?
This next one really resonated with me.
Okay.
Think about a situation where you felt intense insecurity What triggered those feelings, and how do they still impact you?
Okay, so this one seems to be about getting really specific. We're not just talking about general feelings of insecurity.
Right.
We're actually pinpointing a particular situation that brought those feelings to the surface.
It's like using a magnifying glass.
Right.
To examine those moments where our insecurities flared up.
Yeah.
What were the circumstances? Who was involved?
Yeah.
What thoughts and beliefs were running through our minds at the time?
It's like detective work for your own emotions.
I love that analogy.
Right.
And by exploring the details of that specific situation, you might uncover patterns or triggers that you hadn't noticed before.
That you didn't even realize.
Yeah, you weren't even aware of.
For example, maybe you realize that every time you receive a compliment, you immediately deflect it or downplay your achievements.
Oh, yeah.
This prompt could help you understand why you do that. And what deeper insecurity might be driving that behavior.
Exactly. And it also encourages you to consider the lasting impact of that experience. Are you still carrying those insecurities with you, even if the situation itself is long gone?
Even if it's ancient history.
Ancient history. How are those old wounds influencing your current thoughts, feelings, and behaviors?
It's incredible how much our past can shape our present. Isn't it?
It really is. But the good news is, once we bring those shadows into the light of awareness, we can start to heal them and break free from their grip.
Okay, before we move on to the next category, let's explore one more prompt that caught my eye.
All right.
From this Facing Fears and Insecurity section.
Okay.
It's this one. Describe a habit or behavior that you're afraid others might judge. Why is this part of you difficult to share?
Ah, yes. This one goes straight to the heart of shame and vulnerability.
Right.
It's about those little quirks, those idiosyncrasies that we keep hidden because we fear judgment or rejection.
It's like we all have this secret closet full of things we don't want anyone to see, right? But what if, and this is just a thought, what if those flaws are actually what make us unique and interesting?
That's a brilliant question.
Right.
And it challenges us to ask, why are we so afraid of judgment?
Yeah.
What stories are we telling ourselves about what others will think? And are those stories even true?
Are we making it up?
Yeah, we might be.
This prompt could be a real eye-opener for our listener.
For sure.
It encourages them to not only identify those hidden parts, but also to explore the reasons behind their concealment.
It's like going deeper.
Yeah.
Peeling back those layers.
Exactly. And to consider what might happen if they actually embrace those parts of themselves instead of hiding them.
What if instead of being sources of shame, those hidden habits or behaviors became sources of strength?
Right.
Or even inspiration?
It's almost like we're flipping the script on what's acceptable and what's not.
Yeah.
We're reclaiming those parts of ourselves that society might have deemed weird or unworthy and saying, hey, this is part of who I am and it's okay.
I love that. That's powerful. And that's a powerful step towards self-acceptance, which, as Claire Penrose so eloquently puts it in her blog post, is a doorway to freedom and authenticity.
I love that. And it's a perfect segue into our next category of prompts, which focuses on, I can't wait.
This is going to be good. Uncovering past wounds and memories.
Ooh, okay.
This category takes us deeper into the archaeological dig of our own lives, exploring how those past experiences, particularly the painful ones, might still be shaping who we are today.
Okay, I'm getting a sense that this category could be pretty intense.
Yeah, it can be.
Is it really healthy to dwell on past hurts?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's important to approach this category with a sense of self-compassion.
Okay.
The goal isn't to wallow in pain or blame ourselves or others, but rather to understand how those experiences might still be influencing our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in the present.
So it's less about dwelling and more about understanding.
Exactly. It's like those old sayings, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it, or history repeats itself. By understanding the past, we can break free from those repetitive cycles.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this ties into shadow work.
Yeah.
Give me a prompt from this category that really illustrates this idea.
Okay.
Of understanding the past to break free from negative patterns.
How about this one?
Okay.
Think of a painful memory from your past. How has this experience shaped the person you are today?
Whoa. That's a powerful one.
Yeah, it is.
It immediately brings to mind those memories we tend to avoid. The ones that still sting a bit, even after all these years.
It's true. And those are often the memories that hold the most valuable insights.
Oh, interesting.
It's not about re-traumatizing ourselves,
Right.
but about approaching those memories with a gentle curiosity, like an archaeologist carefully excavating a fragile artifact.
Right.
What can we learn from these experiences?
Yeah.
How have they shaped our beliefs about ourselves, our relationships, and the world around us?
For instance, maybe a childhood experience of being bullied led us to develop a deep-seated fear of rejection.
That's a good example.
Or maybe a betrayal in a past relationship caused us to build walls around our hearts, making it difficult to trust and be vulnerable again.
Exactly. Those past wounds can create these invisible patterns that repeat themselves in our lives, often without us even realizing it.
So what does this all mean for our listener?
Yeah, good question.
What should they do if this prompt stirs up some difficult emotions?
First and foremost, be kind to yourself.
Okay.
This work can be challenging, so create a safe and supportive space for yourself.
Yeah.
Before diving into these prompts.
Right.
Have some tissues nearby, put on some soothing music,
Okay.
or light a candle. Anything that helps you feel grounded and comforted.
It's like giving yourself permission to feel those emotions.
Exactly.
Without judgment.
Without judgment. And remember, you don't have to do this alone.
Right.
If the emotions feel overwhelming, reach out to a trusted friend, a therapist, or a support group.
Okay.
Sharing those experiences can be incredibly healing.
It's like the old saying, a burden shared is a burden halved.
Exactly. And as Claire Penrose reminds us in her blog post, past wounds can be heavy, but each memory holds a lesson. Releasing what no longer serves you can open space for healing and growth.
All right, let's explore another prompt from this uncovering past wounds category.
Okay.
One that really stood out to me was, write about a time when you felt betrayed by someone you trusted. How did it impact your view of relationships?
This is a particularly poignant prompt because betrayal is such a universal experience. It can shake us to our core, shattering our trust, not only in the person who betrayed us, but in our own judgment and our ability to discern trustworthiness in others.
It makes me think about how those experiences can lead us to project our past hurts onto present relationships.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe we become overly cautious, suspicious, or even guarded, fearing that history will repeat itself.
Absolutely. And that's where the real work lies.
Okay.
In recognizing those patterns, those echoes of past betrayal, that might be unconsciously influencing how we interact with others today.
It's like we're carrying around these invisible wounds.
Yeah.
And they're affecting how we see the world and how we relate to other people.
And often we're not even aware of it.
Wow.
But by bringing those wounds into the light of awareness through these journal prompts, we can start to heal them and break free from those self-limiting patterns.
So how can our listener use this specific prompt about betrayal to benefit their own lives?
Yeah.
What's the action step here?
I encourage them to reflect on that experience of betrayal with as much objectivity as possible. What happened? How did it make them feel?
Yeah.
What beliefs did it instill about themselves, about relationships, and about the world?
It's like stepping back and observing the situation from a neutral perspective, almost like a detached observer.
Exactly. And once you've explored those details, consider how those past beliefs might be shaping your current relationships.
Right.
Are you holding back from intimacy because of a fear of being hurt again? Are you subconsciously choosing partners who mirror those past patterns?
It's like we're looking for clues connecting the dots between past and present.
Precisely. And remember, forgiveness is a crucial part of this process.
Oh, yeah.
Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning the actions of the person who betrayed you.
Right.
But it does free you from the weight of carrying that anger and resentment.
It's like releasing a heavy burden.
Exactly. And that release can create space for healing growth and new possibilities in your relationships.
You know, as we're delving into these prompts about past wounds, I'm struck by how interconnected everything feels.
Yeah, me too.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Yeah.
Revealing more and more about ourselves with each prompt.
I agree. And that brings us to our next category, recognizing triggers and reactions.
Okay.
Which feels like a natural progression from exploring past wounds.
How so?
Well, once we've started to understand the roots of our fears and insecurities, we can begin to recognize the triggers that set those emotions off.
So we're moving from understanding our past to recognizing how it's affecting our present.
Exactly. It's about becoming more aware of those patterns, those knee-jerk reactions that often stem from unresolved emotions or past hurts.
Right.
And Claire Penrose provides some incredibly insightful prompts to guide us in this exploration.
Give me an example. What's a prompt from this category that could really help our listener become more aware of their triggers?
This one is particularly powerful. Describe a situation where you reacted strongly to something. What was the trigger, and why do you think it affected you so deeply?
Okay. This prompt seems to be about dissecting a specific situation where we had a strong emotional reaction.
Right.
It's almost like we're putting ourselves under a microscope, aren't we?
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It encourages us to slow down and really examine those moments where our emotions took over.
Right.
What were the specific circumstances? What words were said? What actions were taken?
And then to dig even deeper and ask, why did this trigger such a strong reaction in me?
Exactly.
It's like we're looking for the root cause of the emotional outburst.
And what's fascinating is that often our reactions are more about us than about the situation itself.
What do you mean by that?
Well, let's say someone cuts you off in traffic.
Okay.
And you find yourself getting incredibly angry, even enraged.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
I can see why someone would get upset.
Of course. But if you examine that anger more closely,
you might discover that it's actually stemming from a deeper insecurity or fear.
Oh.
Maybe you felt powerless in that moment.
Right.
Or maybe it triggered a past experience where you were treated unfairly.
So the trigger isn't just the event itself, but the deeper emotions that it stirs up within us.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where the real power of this prompt lies.
Okay.
In recognizing that our triggers often point to unresolved issues or unhealed wounds from our past.
It's like those triggers are clues leading us back to the source of our pain.
Precisely. Yeah. And once we understand those triggers, we can start to choose a different response.
Okay.
Instead of reacting impulsively, we can pause, breathe, and ask ourselves, what's really going on here? What deeper need or fear is being triggered right now?
It's like we're becoming more mindful.
Yes.
More aware of the inner workings of our minds and hearts.
And that increased awareness is what allows us to break free from those reactive patterns and choose a more empowered response. Okay, before we move on to the next category, let's explore one more prompt from this recognizing triggers and reactions section.
Okay.
One that really intrigued me was this. Write about a pattern of behavior you notice in yourself when you're under stress. How does it impact you and those around you?
This prompt is all about recognizing those unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Oh, yeah.
We tend to fall back on when the pressure's on.
Right.
It's like we all have these default settings that kick in when we feel stressed, overwhelmed, or threatened.
You know, it makes me think about how differently people respond to stress.
Oh.
Some people withdraw and isolate themselves, while others become irritable and lash out.
And then there are those who try to numb their stress with work, food, alcohol, or other distractions.
Right. It's like we all have our vices.
But what unites us is that often those coping mechanisms end up creating more problems than they solve.
They might provide temporary relief, but in the long run, they can damage our relationships, our health, and our overall well-being.
Exactly. So this prompt invites us to take an honest look at our own stress responses.
Yeah.
What are those go-to patterns that we fall back on?
Right.
How do those patterns impact us and the people around us? And most importantly, what healthier coping mechanisms can we start to cultivate?
So it's not just about recognizing the unhealthy patterns, but about replacing them with more constructive ones.
Precisely. And remember, this is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
We're all works in progress, constantly learning and evolving. So be patient with yourself. Celebrate your progress and keep exploring those shadows with curiosity and compassion.
Beautifully said. And speaking of exploring shadows, our next category takes us even deeper into that realm.
Oh, I like it.
It's titled Embracing the Shadow Self.
Okay.
And it challenges us to confront those parts of ourselves that we've deemed unacceptable.
Yeah.
Even those aspects that make us cringe a little.
This is where things get really interesting and potentially transformative.
It feels like we're moving beyond simply understanding our shadows.
Yeah.
to actually accepting them, even integrating them into our sense of self.
Totally.
But how can we embrace those parts of ourselves?
Yeah, that's the question.
That we've spent so much time and energy trying to hide.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
And this is where Claire Penrose's prompts in the embracing the shadow self category really shine. They challenge us to shift our perspective and see those shadow aspects not as enemies to be conquered, but as potential allies on our journey toward wholeness.
Okay, give me an example of a prompt that illustrates this idea of befriending our shadows.
How about this one?
Yeah.
Reflect on a quality in yourself that you consider negative. Why do you label it this way, and how could you view it differently?
This prompt seems to be about challenging our own judgments. It's like we're being asked to put those negative labels on trial and see if they actually hold up under scrutiny.
Exactly. We tend to categorize certain qualities as good or bad.
Right.
But what if those labels are more about societal conditioning than inherent truth? What if those so-called negative traits actually hold hidden strengths?
Okay.
Or even untapped potential?
For example, maybe you've always labeled yourself as too sensitive.
Yeah.
Seeing it as a weakness.
Right.
That makes you vulnerable to hurt or criticism.
Yeah, it makes you too emotional.
But what if you reframed that sensitivity as empathy?
Oh.
A deep ability to connect with and understand the emotions of others.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good reframe.
Right.
Or perhaps you've labeled yourself as stubborn.
Yeah.
Seeing it as an obstacle to getting along with others.
Okay.
But what if you reframe that stubbornness as determination? A powerful drive to achieve your goals and stand up for what you believe in.
So it's about seeing those qualities through a new lens. Recognizing that even the aspects we've judged as negative can serve a purpose in our lives.
They can.
But how do we actually do that? How do we shift our perspective?
It starts with curiosity.
Okay.
Instead of judging those qualities, try approaching them with a sense of wonder.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what if this quality is actually a strength in disguise? How might it be serving me even if I don't fully understand it yet?
And maybe even asking, what if the parts of myself I've been trying to hide are actually the keys to unlocking my full potential?
Exactly. What if those shadows hold the very qualities?
Wow.
You need to live a more authentic, fulfilling, and meaningful life.
All right, let's explore another prompt from this embracing the shadow self category that caught my eye. This one seems to go even deeper. Write about a part of your personality that you often avoid or suppress. What are you afraid would happen if you embraced it?
This prompt is like shining a light into those dark corners of ourselves that we've been afraid to even look at. It's about acknowledging the fear that keeps us from fully expressing ourselves. From letting those hidden parts see the light of day.
Let's face it, we all have those parts, right?
Yeah, we do.
The parts that make us feel ashamed, embarrassed, or even afraid. The parts we worry might make us unlovable or unacceptable.
And this prompt encourages us to ask ourselves, what if those fears are unfounded? What if those hidden parts are actually beautiful, powerful, and even essential to who we are?
What if, as Claire Penrose so wisely suggests in her blog post, each part of you holds wisdom?
Oh, I like that.
Even the parts you find hard to accept.
That's such a powerful reminder, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like we're giving ourselves permission to be whole, to embrace all of who we are, even the messy, imperfect parts.
And that brings us to our final category, which feels like a natural culmination of this entire shadow work journey.
Yeah, it does.
It's titled Cultivating Self-Compassion and Acceptance.
Ooh.
It's about integrating all that we've learned and embracing ourselves, fully shadows and all.
This category is all about recognizing that we are perfectly imperfect beings. Worthy of love and acceptance exactly as we are. It's about treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and forgiveness that we would offer a dear friend.
Give me a prompt from this category that really captures this spirit of self-compassion.
How about this one?
Okay.
Reflect on a way you can be kinder to yourself in moments of doubt.
Yeah.
How could this shift your relationship with yourself?
This prompt encourages us to become our own best friend, our own cheerleader. Especially in those moments when we're struggling or feeling down on ourselves.
Exactly. It's about silencing that inner critic.
Oh, yeah.
That voice that whispers, we're not good enough, smart enough, or worthy enough. And it's about replacing that negative self-talk with words of encouragement, support, And love?
So instead of saying, I'm such a failure, we could say, I'm learning and growing.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of myself for trying.
Precisely. It's about shifting that internal narrative.
Right.
From judgment to encouragement, from criticism to self-love.
And remember, as Claire Penrose so beautifully reminds us,
yeah,
self-compassion is the foundation of inner peace. Embrace who you are, every layer and every shadow, and let self-kindness guide you forward.
Well said. And with that beautiful sentiment, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the world of shadow work.
Wow, what a journey. We've explored fears and insecurities.
We have.
Uncovered past wounds, recognized triggers and reactions, embraced our shadow selves, and cultivated self-compassion.
We did it.
It's been an incredibly insightful and transformative exploration.
It really has. And I hope our listener has gained some valuable tools and perspectives from Claire Penrose's prompts to continue their own shadow work journey.
Remember, this is an ongoing process, not a destination. Keep exploring those shadows with curiosity, courage, and compassion.
Yes.
And never forget that you are worthy of love and acceptance exactly as you are.
Absolutely.
Every layer and every shadow included.
Every single one.
And who knows, maybe those shadows you've been hiding hold the very keys to unlocking your greatest strengths and living a more authentic and fulfilling life.
There you go.
That's something to ponder as we conclude this deep dive.
That is.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep shining your light.